I'd like to say good morning, St. Louis. I'm going to take just a few minutes to share with you what I think would probably help us all to understand things that we need to understand in order to get to a place in which we can become more hopeful instead of hopeless. The way the world is, there's a lot of hopelessness. And if you think about why there's hopelessness, you will literally begin to seek how to avoid it and how to reverse that hopelessness. From the day in which we were born, wherever we were born, in other words, left the hospital, went home, could have been the projects, could have been the suburbs, could have been somewhere in Bel Air. But everything that you are now encountering is pretty much going to shape who you are possibly going to become until you leave that location and go on to high school and college, and then it's going to be reshaped, possibly depending upon those that you allow into your life. And the reason I'm referring to this particular topic is because I think it's very important. I think cause and effect, in other words, most physicists and people that understand the sciences understand the laws of thermodynamics. In other words, entropy can't be destroyed. Basically, that's what they're saying. Not only that, they're also stating that it's impossible for you to reach a low energy state of absolute zero. Also, entropy will increase, meaning more chaotic and disorder. It's no different than being born. You grow your teeth, you grow your limbs, you're getting stronger, you're getting thicker, you're eating. But the question is, if you look at what's actually happening from the day you enter your mother's womb, or from the day your father fertilized your mother's egg, and subsequently there was you, a living organism, you were born into cause and effect. The father and the mother, based upon that cause and effect, came you. But the cause and effect produces the laws of thermodynamics, which is entropy, disorder. So as a result of there being a you, there's also going to be a death, meaning a perish. The energy is going to change states, and subsequently there's not going to be technology available to know that you're even alive. So subsequently they're going to put you in what they consider to be a ground. But is there a ground, or is it something that we were taught that there is a ground, meaning dirt, but we're encoding everything there is? We're actually encoding, so therefore we believe that it's physical, but it's not physical. Nothing's physical. We've been taught that everything is physical, and as a result of us being taught everything was physical, the cause and effect truly played an intricate part on who we were predestined to become. In other words, when you look at cause and effect, that means that there's a distorted view of your inability to measure the position and the velocity of an object. So therefore, the cause and effect continues to stay in place until you subsequently perish. And that becomes normal because everyone else is literally following that same trajectory. From your leaders, government officials, hospitals, lawyers, doctors, everything is established based upon cause and effect. Not only that, your vehicles, your cars, you hit the accelerator, the gas pedal, it's going to be a movement. You step on the brake, there's going to be a movement. So there's a cause and there's going to be an effect. 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. Meet me at such and such a location at whatever time, on what floor, on what date. There's going to be a cause and effect. However, I believe that we have to eradicate or abolish the cause and effect in the physical. Now you're thinking, okay, what is he saying? Think about the macro, external, not the micro, the macro. The micro is that absolute zero, which is minus friction and heat. Cause and effect consists of friction and heat, such as semiconductors, transistors. If I give my computer an order to do a specific thing, it's going to actually do what I'm asking it to do, but it's doing it in the micro, which I can't see it. I'm just seeing the results of the micro, the effect. So what we must do, we have to understand that we have to eliminate heat and friction. And as a result of eliminating heat and friction, we're creating a vacuum. And once we create a vacuum, we can literally cause the electrons that are actually scattering and losing energy, will cause the electrons to freeze. And as a result of the freezing of the electrons, we can now see what's actually going on based upon the distorted view that had us locked in this prison of deception. I want to believe that the reason we're in prison is because the cells within our body are not reaching their full manifestation down to the nucleus. In other words, we have to contract inward, but based on cause and effect, there is no inward. It's external, and as a result, it leads to decay. Let me just sum it up with this. If we can eliminate cause and effect from the beginning, 13.8 billion years, then we would have been going the opposite direction of where we are. We would be continuously going towards the future, which would have been 13.8, 13.9, 14, 15, 16 versus where we are today. We're so far from 13.8 billion. They're saying that the living organism is only 4.5 billion years old. So that tells me we're roughly 13 billion years, or a little less than that actually, away from, right about 9 or so, away from the truth. So therefore, we're never going to get to the truth based upon chronological age. If we're only living 60 to 80 years, or 90 years, we'll say, that tells you that we are literally living in the past. We haven't evolved. And as a result of us not knowing that we don't know, we can only live based upon our level of intellect. If you're undeveloped in mind, you can't perceive something beyond your undevelopment. So you're going to look at it as if it's true, because you're now under the subjection of cause and effect. Manipulation. If someone tells you something, that level of energy is going to be so engaging, it's going to cause you to do it. And as a result, it's a perpetual motion to where you're going to continue doing it until you lose all of your energy and you lose your faculties, and you can't even process the information around you because you have lost the power, because you were going the wrong way. I know I said a lot. I don't know if I got through to you, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that we must contract inward. We're going the wrong way. Everything that we've built, from houses to cars to technology, is following the laws of thermodynamic, cause and effect, decay, entropy. Everything that you built will eventually need to be replaced. Once we come to the realization of truth, you will not have to replace it, because it would have a sound that has not a negative vibration. And as a result, we will be able to see the world face to face, and we now will be living in truth. We have to come to the realization that we were never taught the truth. But it's very difficult to do, because we establish religion. We establish all these false doctrines based upon our illiteracy, our ignorance. That's the reason this was established, and it appeared to be true, because you can't go beyond your level of intellect. If you're 5 years old and you stay 5 years old without reaching a full level of development, you're going to continue to follow the same trajectory until you decay, because you're not growing. Many of you are thinking 5 years old, how does that compare with us becoming adults? No, you're an adult in darkness. You need to leave this prison. In other words, you need to reverse the laws of thermodynamics, warp space and time, whatever they call it, and go the other way. And as a result of going the other way, you're going to have power that's not connected to this poison. You're talking about coronavirus, cause and effect. If the virus attached to your cells They're going to make bad copies before you know it. You're going to lose your oxygen until you get some form of medicine that's going to help you. In most cases, it will help. In some cases, it won't, depending upon your level of immunity. However, nobody's talking about reversing the laws of thermodynamics. We're concerned about how can we find a medicine. Nobody's talking about how can we increase the immune system to not even get the virus. Or is anyone talking about that? We got 7 billion people all over this world, and everyone's chasing and trying to figure out I need a vaccine. No one's saying what is it that we need to do to eradicate these viruses forever. If we can strengthen our immune system, we can eradicate it. We wouldn't have to worry about a vaccine because it couldn't attach to our cells because we're in a different reality. Nobody's talking about that. The reason no one's talking about it is because we're in 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. We can't even perceive 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension. Because how can you perceive it and you're dying every day? You have not the power to even encode it. You can't even think to encode it because you can't process what's possibly available. It's sad. We are actually trying to, we're not necessarily being proactive, we're being reactive. We got to get Pfizer, we got to get Johnson & Johnson. Nobody's saying, well, what can we do to the mind to make the mind developed enough to where we don't need a damn vaccine? Not only do we need a vaccine, we're going to literally stop time and begin to see the world differently. No one's talking about that because the mind is so undeveloped, they can't even perceive what I'm talking about. And I'm one to believe the reason it's incapable of perceiving this is because of the poison we've been fed from the beginning of creation, and that's religion. Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, everyone's fighting one another, but everyone's serving someone different. So that tells me we're all following deception. What's sitting on your shoulders at the micro level is literally capable of creating a vacuum where we all can be connected. And as a result, we will warp space and time and place ourselves in a different reality outside of hell on earth. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But I want to come on for a moment. I'm not going to stay long. I just want to come on for a moment just to give you my opinion as to what we must do in order to get beyond this mess. Then we got 197 countries or so, or however many countries there are, and everybody's bartering, fighting amongst each other. Russia, China, etc., Japan. This is hell on earth. Until we reach a higher level of development in mind, nothing will change. You will continue to act as if everything is fine, and you fail to realize that graveyard is sitting there waiting on you because you never reach perfection. Shout out to my grandbaby Noah. Granddaddy, love you, son. Continue to listen to your mother and father. Catherine and Winston, you guys keep grinding. Keep grinding. The power is within you. Walter, Zion, Gabe, and Danielle. Until next time, we got to take that mountain. We must take that mountain by any means necessary. God bless.